folks, to the worst possible scenario has occurred. Keon Keeley has officially decommitted from Notre Dame edition of the Always Irish Show. Oh boy, let's get into this. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up if you approve of the content. Who in the hell's going to approve of this content if you're a Notre Dame fan? Anyways, hit thumbs up anyways. You don't have to approve of the subject matter, just approve of the delivery that it entertained you. Let's try that angle for this one. Notifications on, you'll be alerted every time John gets mad about something and posts a video. Twitter, search bar Always Irish at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want the program. You can find it. If you're driving around in a UPS truck making deliveries and you want to get mad and drive off the road, crank it up on iTunes. Call-in show 312-988-15. So let's just get into it. As heavily predicted and rumored now for some time, Notre Dame's top-rated, highest-rated verbal commit, Keon Keeley, has officially decommitted from Notre Dame late last night. There is no other way to look at this. No matter the reason, no matter whatever the circumstances are, you can't sugarcoat it, Notre Dame folks. This is a brutal, brutal, brutal hit. There's no put on your Irish shades and look at it a different way. Glass half full. There is no sugarcoating this one. There ain't. There's not, so don't even try it. Not interested. It's our highest rated recruit at one of the most valuable positions in the game, next to quarterback. And we've also gone through some similar feelings with quarterbacks in this cycle. So there's no sugarcoating it. I'm not going to sit here and listen to people try and work around it to make themselves feel better. We'll do this, we'll do that. No. Be a big boy and accept that this sucks and just embrace it fully for what it is. All right? Instead of doing the Notre Dame fan thing, let's make ourselves feel better. It ain't that bad. There's no way around this one. Just embrace it. Just embrace it. Just take it all in. This gut punch that this is. The fact that he's been committed to Notre Dame so long makes it sting even worse. It's all bad. It's just all bad. So I know the fans want to say, we only want guys that want to be here and all that. You know, next guy up, I get all that, but you don't replace what this guy means to this class. You don't. You don't. Because you're not going to go get another guy equally or as better as him. So you don't. It's a big loss. You don't replace this. It just hurts. It's a gut punch. If you're a Notre Dame fan that follows recruiting, this is your top-rated guy. He's the guy this class was built around. He's the focal point, the highest-rated guy, and he's been in the class forever. So here's where I'm going to bring this, though. All the Notre Dame people are upset, sad about this, frustrated, mad. That is a human fan emotion that we all feel, and I have it too as a Notre Dame guy. But practically, this leads me to two questions. All right? We're going to take this frustration and this anger and all that, try and make it productive rather than just sit here and be depressed. So we're going to go over something to try and figure some of this out. This whole dynamic leads me to a couple questions. Here's number one. Notre Dame fans are all upset. So am I. Not acting like I'm not. But with who? That's where I struggle. Who are we upset with or at? Who are we mad at? That's where I'm struggling. Is it the player? The other coaches recruiting him? Freeman for losing him? We're all mad, but at who? Who are you putting this on? Or is this just we're mad at the situation in totality, but no individual person type deal? How much is NIL involved in this? If it is a lot, are we just mad at NIL now for everything? It really hits me the wrong way to think that if NIL wasn't a thing, Dante Moore and Keeley would be Irish right now. That's a lot to take. To have guys that like Notre Dame that much, but that part of it steered them away, that's hard to take. That's hard to take if that's the dynamic. So that's my first big question. It's easy to say, oh, this sucks. Let's just all bitch about it on Twitter. But I want to know, who exactly are we supposed to be frustrated with here? We need to identify that to get to step 2. I mean, you can't be mad at other coaches for trying to flip a verbal guy. We're trying to do the same thing. I highly doubt Freeman dropped the ball on making the guy feel special. He's the crown jewel of the class. Who are you mad at? The guy, the player? Who? Tell me. Who are you mad at? Question 2 is, so that's number 1. I want to identify who we're frustrated with. Where are we supposed to apply this? That's my first question. Number 2 is, question 2 might be more important. What could be done to stop this from happening? All you could do now with this one is let it burn, live and learn. There's nothing else you can do. But how do you try and prevent this? You're never going to be able to prevent it fully, but how can you protect yourself enough to lower the risk of this moving forward? Like, this is a nightmare scenario for this recruiting class. It's your top-ranked guy. But we got to be able to figure out how to learn something to end up in a better position. There's got to be some lesson we can take from this moving forward. How do you prevent this? If it's Bama, straight up just Bama and the Saban thing, you don't have the resume to flaunt to compare with that. You don't. If the kid's heart is just somewhere else for whatever reason and it changed, what can you do about that? If NIL's the reason, I don't know if it is or not. I don't want to speculate. But if NIL's the reason and we didn't get him, then Notre Dame needs to know that, know what you're up against, and know exactly what that dynamic's like. Even if you get a guy committed, what's going to happen to you moving forward if it's an elite guy in NIL? Does Notre Dame have to change how or when they accept verbals, not lock up a spot for a guy that's going to dip? The issue with that is it leads right into my chicken or the egg. You need elite guys like this to win big, and you win big with elite guys like this. That's the dynamic Notre Dame's in. That's the dynamic Notre Dame's in. That's a tough one because it's just you need these elite guys to win your biggest games, which breeds elite recruiting. You're in a chicken or the egg, and you got to figure something out. If you're finding that it's going to be nearly impossible to land these absolute 5-star guys, then you're going to have to find a way to win elitely on the field with what you have and then recruit off that success. It might be the only way if you're not going to get these guys and it's NIL or whatever. So those are the 2 takeaways here other than the initial gut punch. Let's figure out and identify who exactly we're mad at here and why. And it doesn't have to be one group. There could be a percentage. But I want us to identify exactly who and what we're mad at and why and frustrated. But number 2, how can Notre Dame try and learn from this to not be in this position again as much as possible? You're not going to be able to eliminate this. It's recruiting. But how does Notre Dame learn from this to minimize the risk of this happening moving forward? This is a calibration and something Marcus is going to have to work through and deal with. And it's becoming a problem. Dante, now this. Those are guys that change everything in your program. Top-end quarterback, top-end D lineman. Those are the exact guys Notre Dame needs to get this thing where Kelly never could. So, speaking of quarterback, there are also some lessons here to be learned in the Dante Moore situation as well. going all in on a quarterback like that is great if you get him. But if you don't, where's your plan B pivot for the 23 class? Notre Dame's struggling in that area right now. No way around it. They are. All right. So I'm confident Marcus will adapt. Perhaps some of these are first-time head coach recruiting struggles that you got to learn through, pay your dues, deal with, and learn from. But it's just very hard for me to ignore the fact that I feel like if NIL wasn't involved the way it is, there's a good chance I think Notre Dame has both of these players, and they don't. This is just, it's not going away, that issue. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to survive in this dynamic. But if it's chicken or the egg, that's a tough spot. You need these elite guys to get elite results that breed elite recruiting. The other way is to win without those guys and get that. It's a tough spot. It's a bad ask. But I don't know what else Notre Dame could do. So let me know. Who are you mad at? Just the situation in general? Or where are you putting the blame and frustration on this? And number two, what can Notre Dame do to try and learn from this to minimize the percentages of this happening again and again and again? You got to protect yourself. So what can be learned? Let me know what you guys think, but this is a rough one. It's the worst case scenario. It's your best recruit. This is a very Notre Dame-y thing to have happen, even with the new coach I'm head over heels in love with. Have a good one.